evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 for Tuesday, October 24th, 2023. It was actually a great trading morning. And then the market kind of got quiet and kind of just slipped here and there. And then it got real quiet as we went into the final hour. And as we waited for Google and Microsoft. Microsoft came out first. And the future just went zing and reached a high of 149. I'm starting in the NASDAQ, by the way, sorry. Reached a high at 14,948.75, almost 14,949. And then that was on Microsoft. Then Google came out. Not bad, good earnings, doing okay. Guess a little ad revenue, not really sure, but bam. Google slips down 8, now coming back, and Microsoft shot up, let me see, where was it? Shot up 19 to 349, now slipping back down a little bit. So it continues to kind of balance itself out a little bit here, depending on who has the higher weighting, which I believe is going to be Microsoft. But we pretty much have slipped over 100 points coming back down after that initial surge. Now, that's the givens into what is creating this candle. But now I want to look at the picture. And because we still have Apple, we have Meta tomorrow, and they're already starting to mark Meta down a little bit, going like, well, you know, if Google didn't do all that great, maybe we shouldn't be expecting it here, you know, whatever the situation is. So they've already marked it down about $3. And we'll see, because they don't report until tomorrow. Now, let's take a look at the picture. Let's try to keep this technical. Because to be honest with you, when I look at things and how algorithms are now programmed to react and what they pull out of that quick report, way before our eyes or brains can calculate and get it all together and react, I tend to kind of always think, it's like, wow, that's an overreaction. And so, and you see it because it goes all the way up and it comes all the way back down. In fact, let's just take a peek. Let's just take a peek at even on the hourly chart. No, that's not going to do it. We have to go down to a 5-minute chart and open this up. That was the initial move. Boom, all the way back down and close in red. How interesting. How interesting. And then up and then down. So as things settle in, it just really gets crazy. So I want to go back out here. I want to open this up. I want to take a look here. Because we still have big tech titans that are going to report. And so what I want to present right now is I have my count, but I took out all the internal counting because I know it's 5. So I'm leaving it as -1, -2, -1, -2, -3. This is a -4, but you can see it's still within reason, sort of, but it popped above the 50% marker today. Now, it's not breaking any rules, but what it can't do, it can't go above 15,062.25. So let's go, let's even give it 15,063. Breaks above, it's not a wave 4. Now, if that should happen, what's the flip? What's the alternate? Because if it breaks above that 1, then this is not a wave 4, correcting a wave 3, because it's like something's up. What it then becomes is a 3 waves down. Now I got to back it out, because what we have here is 3 waves up, 3 waves down. So what could that be telling me? A, B, -2 is not done. So that's the alternate view, alternate count that I'm going to leave out there. And because I didn't want to go with the fact that this is just a minuet wave 1 of minute wave 3. or, somehow, I've got others that are kind of coming up with some interesting interpretations of what's taken place so far. But I'm still, let me just jump out to that daily. Let's just take a quick review here. I'm still comfortable with intermediate 1, intermediate wave 2. Now, this also, I thought, no, because this broke below that low, so it doesn't it tends to leave this on as 1, 2, 1, 2 versus ABC, and somehow this is like, then that is what? So once both S&P and the NASDAQ broke below their minor first waves, that to me kind of leaves this nicely in place. And anything that happens here has got to happen within the count that we're working on right now. So it's an intermediate third wave. And so if I had to come and look at, well, what happens if we go up? What happens if we actually do get back up above 15,460, which is again this high? Actually 68. So what if it gets to 15,470, 480? What does that do? Well, obviously the wave 2 is still in progress. So then what's my alternate? Well, this is 3 and this is 3. So it's A and it's B. Now, what does it tell me about wave 2? And this actually did go a little bit, so it's a slight irregular, not full bore. In other words, it did not come down 1.236 or 1.382 of this move, not even close, but it did move to a new low. Second waves can do that. They just can't take out the high. It can't take out the starting point for wave 1, but it can slip a little bit lower or higher depending on the direction. They can create, a new low or high depending on where that wave 1 is. This one actually is moving lower, so it can't surpass the start of it, which is that high. But if we're like working where this is the low and working on a wave 1 going up, then what we can do is if wave 2, we're looking for the correction, but it comes up, goes back, makes a slight new high, and still comes all the way back down. So that's the trip here. So if this is a wave 2 and we kind of go up, then we break that high, it does take it away and just shifts it over. But here is that high. Here is the high that I'm going to talk about. So this wave 1, again, 15,062. If it breaks that high, then I have to consider that it's not really correcting, because the rule says that wave 4 cannot overlap the price territory of wave 1. So that puts that right there. And then I have to come up with what's it leave. It leaves 3 waves down. 3 waves up, 3 waves down. So wave 2 is still in progress. This is wave A. This is wave B. A of 2, B of 2. I'm not moving it yet. I'm showing you because we still have some additional algorithmically controlled moves that can happen, whether they settle back down or not. A break is a break. So I'm now presenting, should it occur? And they could do it tomorrow. They could just decide, no, we're still in love with all of this, and they just go with it. Now, I will show you, and it's more so I can tell you in the S&P versus in the NASDAQ, but it affected both of our markets, where right about 11 o'clock, they decided, okay, time to go and monetize, at least it was for the SPX, a bunch of puts. And they did. They dropped the market, and they dropped the market for 2 hours. They drove it down, 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 monetized what they needed, hightailed it up out of those levels, taking their money and going on the run and running it all the way back up to the highs. Now, crazy, but this is what a lot of what's happening. Was that bearish, bullish, bullish, bearish? Did they turn bearish? No, it had everything to do with zero DTE options and where they wanted to settle things out and get it all taken care of and make their plays. And they did. Great trading. So, if we can divorce ourselves from what actually is happening in the bigger picture, or wondering why we're still sitting in a box, why we're just trading in this sort of range that we got going on, well, then you got something else to talk about. If it's just pure trading, it was good trading today. Now, back to here. If we do kind of go up and break that, the pattern itself tells me that it's likely going to be a flat. Well, that says we probably shouldn't go that much further above 15,468. Because remember how much closer this was. The low was at 15,586, and this low was 15,514. So even if we want 70 points above that, if we're going to be equal, we're looking at 15,520-ish. So let's just take a look. Let's just take a look at where all of this can come in. And again, we can kind of come out there, and we're going to put our fibs in. And you can see just on a, actually, that's not going to work. So we're looking at fibs coming up, and that's not what I wanted. What I wanted was these. So if I kind of go here to here to here, we got the 100% at 15,397. And this is 15,460. So then 1618, too high. So in actuality, they're just not filling in those blanks like I want. So let's go to 1.236 and 1.382 and see what they say. 236 is 598. Could it? Yeah. But I'm looking for it flat. But I'm going to grace it a little bit because it went that $15 below. And if I add the $15 to that high, then we're looking at 83. And what's this number? 91. Pretty close. So you can work out a fib where you can give yourself a shot at to what the market can do. But I would still term it as a minor wave 2. Now, what it can't do as a minor wave 2 is it can't go out and take the high out of minor wave 1, because then it's no longer a minor wave 2 correction. It's something else, and it's going to form kind of a strange pattern. So I'm not really looking for it to go much more. If this is what's going on, folks, please, I'm not changing that. I'm just making us aware of it. It's an alternate count, because the markets have returned to a little bit of volatile. And so when we get there and we start seeing that, things can change, and they change quickly, particularly during earnings. Particularly during we still have all of this, like, well, everything's going to be great, everything's going to be fine. We're buying. It's like, okay, whatever you want to pluck into that, I'm thinking it's still part of a correction. It just happens to be the upside of the correction, right? Wave 2 corrects wave 1. Well, we got the first part, and I thought it was all over, and it still may be. So the alternate doesn't kick in unless it goes above 15,062. And really, I'm going to look for it's like 63, 64. Go break it. Don't just equal it. Break it. And then it may be the largest force, so I'm still not going to like it. But maybe it comes up to here, which is 15,000. I still will not really like it. But as I've talked to you about before, that with Elliott wave, and I'm not the only one that's noticed this. This has been, documented by folks from Elliott Wave International, folks from other Elliott Wave analysts, that we are noticing with the introduction of algorithmic trading, quantitative trading, there are differences now. There are changes to how the patterns play out. We still get a lot of the same things because a lot of it, whether it's an algorithm or not, an algorithm reacts to what a human programs in. So we still get that human emotional response type thing, but there are changes. It's like, wow, that's not as clean as I thought it should be, or wow, that's bigger than I thought it should be. When we're doing the look and feel part of being an Elliott wave analyst. So again, I'm just presenting this as the alternate count because we have still some additional earnings reports. We still have all night for the rest of the world to kind of take those earnings and see what they want to do with it. We don't know what's going to happen once Globex will open. Everybody's got time to go look at their positions and kind of decide, well, maybe we want to do this or let's go do that. Who knows? So, but right now, I think we still might have some. If I'm going to take it off the daily now, let's bring it down and look at the 4-hour chart and open that up. Pretty clean. ABC. We got an A, B, C, B, and then we got the C wave. Now is the C wave done? Let's take it down to the 1-hour chart and take a look. We're going to come into here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That 4 just happened, right? So we have 1, 2, kind of strange. 1, 2, 3. Strange. Could have been a 4, 5. I don't know. That didn't happen first. Let me see what. All right, let's keep breaking it down. Let's go down to the 5. Let's see what all that looks like inside. Still the same. This is a little bit tough. So here, what am I looking to count? Counting a C wave. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very possible. So it's all over, and we just continue to work our way lower, because again, coming back out to my hourly chart, 3, 4, looking for a 5. Now I want to rebuild this. I left it all out because I didn't want to clog it up with all of the fibs that were really for the downside. So if wave 4 is done, well, then we know where we should start heading lower again. We will wait and we will see. Still, guys, it's like, still a lot going on. But let's start rebuilding our fibs. So the first one I'm going to bring back, I'm going to go back out to the 4-hour. I think I took a lot off to keep the chart very clean. All right, so we do have the intermediate 3. Those are on. Now I'm going to stick back on there, minor wave 3. So we have something to look at and we can see. Now I got the minor 3, and then I'm going to add one more. My new 3 kind of came in, so I'm going to leave that one off. But if this wave 4 is complete, I'm just going to say we're down over 100 points from where it topped. Let's just give it a shot. Let's just kind of put something up there, and we're going to get an idea of what minute wave 5 should look like. Okay, so I am going to bring this up so we can take a peek. So what we have, these insides here, that one, this one, this one, those are all for the minute 5th wave. Minute 5th wave equality, where 5 equals 1, is 14,542. Well, I'm looking for it to get below 14,523. So what's going to be the more likely target for minute wave 5? Well, 14,291. All right, so what do I have for minor wave 3? 100% of 14,204. So what could this minute 5th wave go even further? Well, 2.618 is 13,884. That might be a little bit heavy duty, but it could. That suggests that something's going to happen between tonight and tomorrow, or going forward. Something's going to happen. Again, we've talked about this, folks. Yep, we're focusing on earnings. Yep, we got all this bullishness because of the earnings, but we have a lot of other stuff out there that can come into play and rock the boat heavily. Suppose I think this afternoon, I don't know, maybe it's already over. I haven't seen any of the news. Whether that House Speaker position has been voted and accepted, we don't know. So that's still going on. We still have other things happening globally, geopolitically. We do have a lot of military activity going on. So again, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? So, but right now we're going to deal with what we have our number wise so that we have an idea should things start to go, what we need to expect and what levels would not make sense. So within this one, I can change a lot of things, i.e. I'm just going to take out that 618 and leave. And now that kind of takes that one out, but it tells me, okay, where do we need to go? Actually, I should take out the 100 because it's got to get below. So by taking it out, so I can go back. And why leave it there if it's not going to be valid in terms of if that's all we get? Then it would be a failure, and then it's something different. So here we have for minute wave 5. First up, that's going to be within the realm, 14,291. I'm looking for minor 3 to be longer than minor 1, and that means it's got to go below 14,204. Now, again, I'm telling you, that's leaving this count as the preferred, that this wave 4 is going to be labeled as done. I'm not done that yet. I still got, all the way till tomorrow because I need confirmation that that is the case. Breaking below 14,687, breaking below those lows of today, and then again, breaking below that low would definitely give me that confirmation. But so these are guesstimates based on the 4 being marked as complete here. So that's what we have. The minor 3, I'm looking for more than that level. I think I can get it. If wave 5 extends nicely, then we'll get down below there, maybe closer to here, but that's connected to that 5th. That's 2.618. Something can happen. Who knows? Who knows? I don't. But these are just the tech numbers, right? Even if it comes down to 14,100, that gives me that extra points that I want. And then I can complete. But then once we get 3 complete, then we get a 4. So we got another rally. Then we have an additional drop. Now I've been looking at these numbers. So where do I want minor? Well, then we got minor 3, minor 4, minor 5 to finish that intermediate. Well, it's kind of tough to do it, but 1.618, 13,498. So that would be, okay, minor 4 and then minor 5, bringing us down there or bringing us down there. But that would just finish intermediate 3. Then intermediate 4, intermediate 5. We're not that far. Yep, it seems that way. It really does. It does. We're trading at 14,819. It really does seem like it's miles away. But 2,000, it could. I think something serious is going to happen if it does. But hey, I'm not saying this is going to happen next week either. We're going out into November. We still have a government problem to deal with. We still have, the House got a lot of work to do, and they got to agree on a whole bunch of stuff, or we as a government shut down on November the 17th. Just happened to be an expiration. How about that? So, and then where they're lining up in the S&P around 4,200. Okay, so I'm going to kind of finish up here. Again, I reviewed the alternate. The alternate would suggest that this rally picks up and continues and puts the wave 2 still in progress, which means we get a continued rally and we peak above 14,468. Before wave 2 is done, not that much further, right? Because it's going to be pretty much a flat up, down. These are pretty equal, A, B, C, flat. So it's going to come right in, right around there, and a little bit higher. Then we do drop, and that would be wave 2. And then we get to start this wave 3 all over again. Now, if wave 3 is in progress now and wave 4 is minute 4 is done, minute 5 is now going to be in progress, and it's got a lot of ground to cover before we can say it's complete. Minute 5 really, I'm looking for it to bring it below 14,204 from where we are. 600-point drop, at least. There's a lot of work out there. All right, I don't think I need to double check, but I will on our moving averages. Well, the next one on the line, if it comes down far enough, remains the daily 200 simple moving average, and that remains at 14,263. So once we start getting down into this area, this will be the marker where it could drive it down to here, break and drive. So that all can be there. Let's go take a quick look at the S&P, please. Okay, so here we are, S&P. Same type of situation. So I took everything off. Here we have minute wave 1 bottomed at 43.40, or we're going to say 43.41. That would be the number that if this fourth wave gets up and breaks above 43.41, then this is going to be left as 3 waves down, and this wave 2 is still in progress. Same deal, not a whole lot, but it is an irregular. Then it's an A, a B, and we're working on a C wave, which should still pretty much work its way around being a flat. And maybe it gets up to 44.30. Maybe it gets a little bit higher, 44.40. Or into that area, because if I look at this low is 42.35. This low is 42.13. So we got 22 points that we can add to this high, and that's 43.52. So we have 44.40 to 44.50 again as our resistance levels. If the wave 2 isn't done and we're going to rally all the way back up. Okay, so that's the alternate. Now, right now, I'm leaving it as is because we're swinging back down again. We did that rally. ABC looks pretty good. Let's go down to the 4-hour chart. Just kind of check our look. A, B, C, same as in the NASDAQ. Kind of came up. It broke above, but it broke back down below. So I could say that it's done. If it is, first thing I'm going to do, nope, that one. And I'm going to put it right over to there. So first thing we got is we're minute wave 5. Now, what else I got? There is our intermediate wave 2. Now I'm just going to put on minor wave 3. So we have minor wave 3, 618. It's right there, 4,200. I am going to leave it there because it still shows, and it should be strong. I don't think we've already been down there. 4,206, 4,200. But here we have good old minute 5. Minute 5 would be equal. Oh, look at that. That's what shows up there as well, 4,200. That would produce a new low. That is a major support area. Wow. Interesting what lines up at 4,200. I'm telling you. But I would think we might get it broken, and we get down to 41.45. What do we have as in terms of minor 3? Minor 3 actually equals minor 1, and like I've always said, I'm looking for more at 40.61. 2.618 for minute 5 comes in at 40.55. So not a whole lot more, but it is more. And then we have additional, they're going to be coming down here. 2618 minor 3. That's really putting an extended minute 5th wave into play. Can do it. It certainly can. All right, wave 3 would not be the shortest. Wave 1 would be the shortest. So that could extend and extend. Just for fun, I can put in 368, and it's down here, 39.65. That gives me that extra that I'm looking for. and completes it. Again, I'm talking technical, folks. I'm not talking anything about how it's going to get there or what it's going to cost or what it's going to create. I'm just saying it's all technical. Can it do it? Sure. There's the fibs that tell you. And then we have the minor. Yep, it can. And it all kind of fits. That is for the primary C wave. Intermediate wave 3. 1.618. I think I could do a little bit more. We need it down into here. So that's just a resting point. And then we drop it into here. My intermediate wave 3 could finish up and down in here for sure. No problem. But here again, we're looking for a minor. Then we get a 4 and a 5. So we'd be looking for probably closer down into here. For intermediate wave 3, intermediate wave 4, intermediate wave 5, you know where we're going. So we have a lot still, and we've got all the fibs lined up. The larger ones aren't changing yet. These might change if we have to move that wave 2. But these are staying in place for right now. Now, for tomorrow, a lot's going to depend. Oops, I didn't mean to do it that way. A lot really is going to depend on how this all plays out. Right now, we're midway. So if it's done, it should continue to go down. If it's not done, we run the risk where we can get up above that, 43.40. We have some price resistance at 4,300. Take care of it. That could take care of it, and then that ends it, and we still come down in that 4. A couple of numbers change. Over in the daily, let's just take a peek. We are below. The 20 actually did cross below, but it stopped. But it did cross below that 200. So again, depends on what they want to do. I don't, and how they want to take everything that happens between now and then. So I don't really see any moving averages that are going to step in the way right now. Let's just see what plays out. You've got the look to see if we get a break above 43.41, then we're going to be taking the alternate. And the alternate is in that this is A, B, looking for a C. So a break above 43.40 suggests we get an additional 100 points in a rally in the S&P. Okay, you look at it that way. If we start to break here, the expectation would be we get an additional 100 to 110 points. Okay, all right. I am going to end it right there. Our next update will be on Wednesday, October the 25th. Let me double check to make sure. I think we do have some numbers that are coming out tomorrow. New home sales. Yoo-hoo! And they come out at 10 a.m. So that's it. The bigger ones are going to be on Thursday. We have GDP, initial jobless claims, durable goods, and pending home sales. So Thursday is going to be the bigger day, along with Friday. Friday, we get PCE index, personal income spending, et cetera, and consumer sentiment. Oh, so Thursday, Friday, bigger days. Tomorrow, not so bad. All right. Have a great evening. Have a good trading day tomorrow. Next update will be on Wednesday.